guys. So today is a quick video all about how to do makeup for hooded eyes. Now my eyes are naturally slightly hooded anyway. I've got a lot of space between the crease and my brow bone and not a huge amount of lid, and as the years go by and I lose elastin and collagen in my skin, that's only going to get more significant. This side, I don't want to patronise anyone, but I've kind of over-exaggerated what I perceive as the don'ts, and I'll explain why they are don'ts as we go through the makeup. But I want to start first with the eyebrows. So eyebrows are brilliant at framing the eyes, but frame them too heavy, too low and too long, and it can indeed exacerbate that kind of heavy hooded look. So let me show you on this side a slightly brighter, more lifted brow, starting with my current fave, which is the Brow Freeze from Anastasia Beverly Hills. I'm just going to take that through my brow and lift my brows up so I gain a bit more height and a bit more lift than them. And then most importantly, what I won't do is I won't fill them in too heavily at the base, because I don't want to make that base either too strong or too heavy and therefore encroach on my lid space. There is so much more height and lift on this side where I've brushed the brow up and set it in place with the Brow Freeze. Now, instead of doing a complete filled in brow, which has been a bit of a trend recently, I'm going to use the Urban Decay Brow Blade to just create some feather-like strokes through the brow, just to fill in a slightly fluffier, more natural way. And I've done this the last couple of days because I love how it looks. But do you see how by not finishing too low and brushing those hairs out already, this eye looks significantly more lifted than the other? Okay, and I think it just looks that little bit more natural, doesn't it? So that is kind of step one. Then let's move on to eyeshadow, shall we? Now on this eye, there's kind of a brighter colour on the lower lid and then kind of a strong liner. I love a strong liner, but for a hooded eye, it can cut the eye in half. So you see how that thick, darker liner, which some people might think, oh, I feel like my eyes are a bit small, let's make the most of them, let's really frame them so my eyes pop. Actually, the darkness, as I said before, cuts the eye in half. So I've got kind of this thick back line, then the crease hits, and then nothing until my brow bone. And you also see on this corner here, this is something I see women do a lot. They do their eyeliner, this is a Lord & Berry black pencil, then they hit the outer corner and they keep coming. This often happens when you stretch the skin like that. So they just keep coming past the outer corner, and that in turn can add to weight and heaviness in the outer corner of the eye. So let me show you what I would do to kind of lift and brighten on this side. I'm going to use my Too Faced Peachy Nudes palette. And I'm going to start actually I want to press a bit of a light matte colour into the very inner corner of the eye. And that's just going to serve the purpose of making sure that the inner corner of my eye isn't too dark. Because when the inner corner of the eye is quite dark, it can close up and make the eyes look a little bit smaller. Then I'm going to go into Peach Tea, which is a classic taupey matte lid colour, and I'm going to fluff that all over the lid. But most importantly, my point being, when the eye is open, I'm going to bring that shadow through the crease of the eye. So when you look at the eye with the eye open, you can see shade above the crease, and it helps open out the eye. Now also what I'm going to do is just point out that when you get to the outer corner, instead of doing the kind of classic windscreen wiper and pull the colour down, I want you to imagine there's an invisible line from the corner of your nose to the corner of your eye to the corner of your eyebrow. And I want you to make sure that no shadow comes past that point. So get your imaginary line and be sure that no shadow comes past that point. And it might be, if your eye is particularly hooded, that technique when it comes to filling in or taking the shadow through the crease, actually do the shadow almost straight out. So you're doing more of a straight line here across the crease to the brow than you are the windscreen, the kind of rounded motion. And that will ensure that your shadow doesn't then go past that invisible line. Are you all still with me? Now, if you want to, you can kind of do a bit of a crease colour. I'm going to do fresh picked. So just going, you know, a tad deeper. But the trick is to kind of do it actually slightly above your crease. So my crease is there, but I'm putting my crease colour here. So much higher. And that will again just create an illusion of a crease much higher than your crease naturally is, thus helping to make your eye look all the more bigger and brighter, and hopefully diminishing that slightly hooded effect. Just make sure that's really nicely blended. Great. And then I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of liner, but instead of lining all the way, I've got my Ruby Hammer liquid liner, I'm actually just going to pull firstly up and out from the outer corner. So following the trajectory of the shadow I've done, and then pull back in. So the softest of flicks, nothing huge. You can always, of course, exacerbate that if you want and do a slightly larger flick. But for this exercise, I just want it to keep it quite small. Just so I can show you essentially the difference between the eyeliner looks. I want to keep this short and sweet so I keep your attention. You could, of course, soften that, so kind of slightly double line that. You can do eyeliner underneath the lash line, absolutely, but I'm going to keep it soft. So let's go to, this is a Spectrum for A13 brush. And I'm going back into that taupey colour, so a lighter colour. And I'm just going to line under the lashes slightly, but I'm not going to take it right into the inner corner. So just more in the outer corner there. Then to create more lift to the eye, I'm going to curl my lashes. I didn't on this side. So a quick curl. These are my Tweezerman curlers. And look, already you can see with the curl, my eyes look that little bit brighter. You can do this with any colour, by the way. I'm doing it with taupes. The same is true if you're doing greys or plums or even, you know, dark colours. I think of someone, I often reference Jennifer Lawrence when teaching makeup for hooded eyes, because she is beautiful and young and has slightly hooded eyes. And she rocks a brilliant smoky eye, but the trick is actually bringing that shadow really quite high through the crease to make her eyes look bigger and brighter and wider. Right, let's just do a little on the lower lashes, because I do love my lower lash line mascara. Each to their own, but I think it's really, really pretty. Okay, and there we go. In 10 minutes, my top tips for makeup to give a lifted effect for a hooded eye shape. Hope that helped, guys. Mwah!